Well, here we are, gas prices skyrocketing, and Republicans blaming Democrats, Democrats blaming Republicans, people blaming the price gouging of the oil companies, and all the while, just chaos across the world, unfortunately. I mean, Joe Biden's got to make some decisions of what he wants to do. He's obviously put the sanctions in place. He's talking about banning Russian oil. I mean, that would obviously cause the gas prices to skyrocket even further, unless somehow he pushes aside his hatred towards the Saudis, which, for due purpose, they throw gays off of buildings and, mutilate women's private areas and such. I mean, it's pretty messed up shit. You got to make a decision. Which one do you? Well, I don't want them to bomb Ukraine, but I also don't want to support people that do certain things that I disagree with, right? So that's a tough line to draw in the sand. It's going to be tough for him to make that decision. Obviously, gas prices, because of supply and demand, because if you don't have the Russian supply coming in, which is one of the larger supplies there, demand remains the same. Prices go up. It's simple supply and demand economics. That's kind of that. I mean, and I know Russia. I mean, I think they've talked about banning oil. So right now they're going a roundabout way of getting the oil, which takes a little bit longer, but they're still getting it right. Now they're talking about officially banning it, totally 100% banning the oil. And I know Putin said that would go take oil to $300 a barrel, and he doesn't care because he wants what he wants, right? He's a crazy man that wants what he wants, whether he's right or wrong. History will be the judge of that, not me. Whether the decisions that we make as Americans will be right or wrong, also that'll judge history later on too. Not for me to decide, but it is an interesting time, an interesting point, because there's trade-offs, right? If you put sanctions against Russia, your trade-off is that you have to pay higher gas prices. Now, some people are willing to do that. Other people would prefer not to meddle in other countries' businesses. I don't have an opinion on it one way or another. Just the fact of the matter is that there's going to be trade-offs, and no matter what you decide, you completely ban oil, and it doubles in price from $121, $122 a barrel today to $300 a barrel, like Putin says it'll go to. Yeah, what do you think that's going to do to gas prices? Probably double gas prices, I would say. $10 a gallon wouldn't be unrealistic. So, I know in other countries, it's in liters, and liters is probably like about $2.50 a liter now, which translates to almost $10 a gallon. So that will be very interesting to see, to say the least, how all this goes. But I know that truck sales will probably drop with the price of gas. I know that happened to me last time when I was younger in 2008, when all this happened and we had $4 some odd gallon gas. I had a truck. I went and bought a motorcycle. So I wouldn't be surprised to see motorcycle prices, not cheaper cars necessarily, but more fuel efficient cars, driving. Not necessarily saying Teslas and stuff like that, because it still use oil, right? So your house electricity still uses oil for the most part. I mean, I know that people have coal, hydro, solar, wind, there's all those, but until we're 100% on renewable resources and renewable energy, you're going to be stuck mostly using oil. Gas turbines are really kind of what makes most of the world go around. How do you get gas? You get oil. It's just one of the ways things work. So we consume a lot of it. We consume a lot of electricity and a lot of energy. You see my light's still on behind me. I'm working here, so I got a light on behind me and in front of me. So I'm just as bad at consuming electricity too. So between TV, video games, everything else, there's electricity is utilized in probably most American households, especially AC down here in Florida. Yeah, it's all the time. And I'd assume, I guess you use natural gas up in New York, but in the northern states, but when it snows, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because the decisions are going to impact one way or another. And gas prices are going to cause everything to go up. Transporting milk, eggs, all these things, they go via shippers. So when gas prices go up and shipping rates go up, you see it. The milk companies aren't going to foot the bill for it. No, they're going to raise the price of milk because it costs them more to ship. And it's just the way things work, right? That's the way business works. Business doesn't just sit there and say, okay, well, I'll take a loss for the good of the people. No, because if they take a loss long enough, they lose their employees, they lose their business, they lose their company. That's like you if you have a weekly job or a job you go to every week, saying, oh, you know what, that's okay. I'll work for free, or actually I'll pay my company to work there just to make sure that the company and the world survives. No, it's not going to do it. You do what you got to do to make sure you make enough money to pay all the bills. And that's kind of the way business works, right? So it'll be very interesting. I'm curious to see how this all plays out, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, guys. Good luck.